foreigner. I hate Krikamba. I hate Kwara. I hate Zai. I don't like foreigner. Foreigner must go to their country. I hate foreigners. I am xenophobic. I hate, again, I hate times and times. I don't know how many times. I hate foreigners. I am xenophobic. I don't like foreigner because foreigners, I don't have a child because of foreigner. Ramaphosa, take these foreigners to their country, right?
Good day, everyone. Today I decided to say what I think about what is happening in South Africa. As someone who grew up in South Africa from the age of 17 until COVID-19, I think it was more than 10 years, of living in South Africa. Over 12 years, I must say. So as I said, I lived in South Africa for a very long time. So I thought, let me say something. With my years of living in South Africa, I will be honest with you guys, I did not experience any xenophobic attacks. I lived there from when I was little. I do have a lot of South African friends, all different races, Indians, white, black people, all kinds, colors, and I did not experience any kind of, I did not experience racism, or I did not experience xenophobic attacks. So until I moved back to Zimbabwe. So I'm moving back to Zimbabwe. I moved because it was because of COVID-19, and I had met my husband who happened to be from Zimbabwe, and then I had to relocate back, thank God. But I did not have any bad experience. So I don't want to say anything bad about South Africa. I don't want to say that South Africans are xenophobic. If somebody had to ask me today, like, are South Africans xenophobic, I would say no, because of my experience. All right, so we all have different experiences, but I personally think that I just want to speak for people like Zimbabweans. If you have an option to come back home, please come back home. It's hard in the beginning to set up everything, the first year or the second year, but once you are all set, everything is perfect. It's so good to be home. It is so good to be home. There's a lot happening right now in South Africa. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you feel unsafe, and especially for the kids, you want to make sure that they're safe.
If you go through back or front, they are not giving issuing papers now. So it's just kind of a xenophobic, diplomatic xenophobia. How can you deny giving people permits, and on the street you call them illegal immigrants? Not that they don't want the permits, not that they don't want the papers. They want every foreigner here in South Africa want papers. They want to be documented. They want to be legit here in the country. The problem is that the Home Affairs have refused to eat.
So if you do have a place to get to, just come home. Even if there is nothing, you can start somewhere. I know some people might say that you are saying it because you do have a home and all that, but I know I was also scared to come back home and start all over again, but I managed to come back home and I started all over again. Imagine starting from getting your driver's license, renewing everything. It's more like you're starting a new life. I do understand, and I had to go through all of that. I did have to go through all of that. And if you do have that chance, please come back home, because what I am seeing here on social media, guys, it is a lot. And I don't know, if I was still in South Africa, I don't think I would have managed to cope with all of that. But I do really highly advise people to come back home if that's, if you do have a place to come to. In Zimbabwe, our president is always saying that ilizwe liyakhwa ngabantu balo. So if we all run away from our own country, who is going to build our country? and we are going to complain again in the next 10 years because foreigners are going to come to our country as well, and they will start businesses, and you'll be like, it will make you angry, okay? It will make you angry because you won't find that satisfaction that, okay, this is my home, but I didn't do anything about it. You need to come back home and build your life by yourself, you know? That's how it should be. You really have to come home. I understand it's really hard, you don't know where to start, but there's always somewhere to start. There's always, how come when we left Zimbabwe and we went to South Africa then, how come we managed to start everything? And I was 17, I was young, but then I made a life there, you know? But then still it's the same thing. And now that I came back to Zimbabwe, I still started my life from zero and I made it. So I think that, it's possible. Everything is doable. Please just come back home. Don't wait for somebody else to build your country for you, because you are the one who's going to build it. You and your children and your generations to come, you are the people that are supposed to build this country. But if you're not there, who's going to build it? And a lot of things change, when you come back home, Bulawayo is no longer that same Bulawayo that you thought it was. Things keep changing. We keep changing as well. So there's so much that has changed. So if you come home and be part of that, you will rejoice in the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You'll be like, okay, you know what? Thank God I came back home. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are now back in Zimbabwe who are actually grateful that, you know what, I went back home, and they're grateful for that. So be that person. You have to make sure that you come back home. I know that it's hard, but please just come back home. I don't know, I was watching the videos today online, and it really broke my heart, and I was like, what would I don't know what I would have done if I was still living in South Africa with my children today. But like I said, I didn't experience anything bad, but just come back home. Come back and start from where you left. You can start somewhere. A lot of people say a lot of things about foreigners. There's a lady from Tegwini who was talking about drugs, that they didn't have a certain drug in Tegwini, but now they do have a lot of drugs in Tegwini, and it is because of the foreigners. So let's hear what this lady has to say.
Ngeke usukele kwela kini uthi uzogunda abantu la eThekwini ubeyekeleni ngakini usuka le kini uzovulisa uyekeleni ngakini kunobugebengu obungaka nje ngenxa yabo thina sikhule iwunga ingekho la eThekwini yayingabhenyi iwunga abafana babedlela iglue kwafika bona ingane zethu zibotho zigcwele iTheku zibothokile ngenxa yamakorekore afika newunga iwunga besingayazi kwadliwa iglue kuphela iwunga izibulele ingane zethu amakhona namakhona ingane.
So imagine if this is your country and somebody comes in and brings a certain drug, like how would that make you feel? That's why I'm saying that I do understand South Africans, and I'm sure that there's a lot of foreigners who really want to come home, but they're scared that, coming home, what are they going to get to? What are they going to get to? Especially if somebody has been in South Africa for more than 20 years and they've never been home, and actually some of them were born and raised in South Africa. I do understand, and I'm not saying that all foreigners are doing drugs. I do believe that most foreigners, some of them, they don't even do drugs, first of all. So I just think that, it's better to come back home and just start your life from somewhere. It is very sad, and I don't even know what to say about this whole thing, but guys, I don't know. If you do have a chance to come home, just go back to your country, go home and start somewhere, start a new life. And I know that it's possible because I did it. I did it in 2020, and I made sure that I come back home, and here I am now because I came back home now. Now I own a house, and now I own another piece of land somewhere, and you start somewhere. And if I don't think that if I was still living in South Africa, I would have actually achieved those things. So what I'm just saying is that you don't just live in one country and think that everything is going to happen where you are. Things can change even if you go back to your country. What if your destiny is not there anymore? What if this is it? Just come back home and start a new life. And you know what? The thing is, for me, I think I'm very grateful to God that my kids are not being raised in South Africa now, as this lady has talked about drugs. And where I am from now, where I live in Bulawayo, Of course, I'm not saying that there's no cases of drugs, but what I'm saying is that I'm so blessed, and I feel blessed to be raising my children in a city like this one, because it's very quiet and peaceful, and you can raise your children in a safe home, knowing very well that they wake up in the morning freely, they go to school. It gives you satisfaction as a parent. So hence why I'm saying that if you do have the ability to come back home, just come back home and make sure that you start your life from scratch. There's so many opportunities in my country. There's a lady who also talked about why is it that hairdressers don't do hair in their own country? Why is it that the barbers don't do haircuts in their own country? But I'm telling you, if you are in Zimbabwe, a lot of women love beauty. They will do anything to have their hair done every week or every 2 weeks, So you will still make money in Zimbabwe, but it's all about the mindset. It's all about you, how you program your mindset. If your mind is not programmed very well, then you won't make money, even if you go to South Africa, even if you go to Nigeria, or even if you go to Malawi or whichever country. But it's all about discipline, and it's all about what you want to achieve. So because barbers, in Zimbabwe, I don't know how much they charge in South Africa. In Zimbabwe, if you go to a barber shop, they charge you $5 to have your hair cut, and then they cut your beard also, and then do the scrub and everything. But I don't know how much they charge now in South Africa. And if you do your hair in Zimbabwe, it's also US dollars. That means you're going to make more money in Zimbabwe if you are a hairdresser. So it's entirely up to you if you want to come back home and start a new life. Of course, given the chance, I wouldn't mind going back to live in South Africa, because like I said, I didn't have any issues, and I do have a lot of friends from South Africa, because of the lifestyle, and people, we understood each other because I grew up there from a young age until now. But when you come to Zimbabwe and you understand how things work, everything starts to flow for you. You won't even have any problems or any issues, because you will understand the societies and you will understand the system. So you won't even have that problem. You live in a free country. You don't have to worry like something's going to happen to you while you're walking by the street, things like that. So just come back home. Just come back home and start somewhere. Omunye umkhokheli wale ebandla abathi March and March ubekhuluma nje sithi hayi yena ule mvumo yokuthi njani bangene ngaphakathi for them to check the building to see if there's any drugs or all those things. And for me, honestly, if that was happening in my country, in Zimbabwe, I would go and participate, because I wouldn't allow that to happen, because that would affect my children. So I think he's right. So imagine yourself putting yourself in that position of having to worry that, they will invade the building at any time of the night, or something will happen,
ahlole leli bhilidi linama-drugs ivale umlomo thula ungangivumeli yimi ngikutshelana leli bhilidi linama-drugs lihlala abantu abangenayo amaphepha sifuna amaphoyisa aliseshe manje without a warrant. I-warrant ithini abantu base-South Africa? That's the warrant.
So guys, listen to what Jacinta is saying.
If they feared for their lives, they wouldn't be here. Remember, they left their countries because they feared for their lives, didn't they? Now, if they fear for their lives, what's stopping them from going to the next country? Why are they still fighting to be in South Africa? If you fear for your life and you're an immigrant, this is the best time to go back home. And if you fear for your life, you ran away from your country because you feared for your life. Why are you fighting in South Africa? What are you fighting for? Because it's not your country. Go back and fight in your country, or find another country to go to. We also have our own problems now. We've got many problems.
Home Affairs and the police have got to come together and have got to ensure that these organizations don't start going around, as they have been doing in Johannesburg, and demanding documentation from people and from migrants. This is unlawful. It's illegal. And in fact, we have a court case as CACs that we won in the High Court here in Gauteng just last year that prevents these groups from doing these things.
Because now you don't want to live in fear, because I know that a lot of people are living in fear. I was actually in South Africa a few days ago, not really a few days ago, like I think a week and a half ago or 2 weeks. I went there to renew my US visa, and you know, to my surprise, I went to this guest house and I lived there. And it's funny because a lot of people that work there, they're all from Zimbabwe, and I stayed there for 5 good days and nobody went out of the building for those 5 days. I was shocked. I was like, why would you want to live like that? So I think the best thing is to just come back home. Come back home, don't be embarrassed, because there's always somewhere to start. You don't want to live in fear. Those people were living in fear, and that really got into me. Like I felt so sorry for them. I didn't know how to even help them. Sorry, but I even asked one of the girls, I'm like, why are you staying here for, like, is this okay for you? That can cause depression and anxiety, because they are locked up. You are in this one place. You can't even go out. You can't do anything. You can't exercise your rights. But when you're in your country, you can walk freely. You can do whatever you want. And, you know, things like that. It's just that we have developed this mindset that, okay, there's nothing happening in Zimbabwe. There is money in Zimbabwe. And as long as you program your mind in the right direction, you program your mind in the right direction, you will make money in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, you cannot have one stream of income. That's what you need to know. You have to have different streams of income so that you can actually survive in Zimbabwe. And that was very, very sad. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that people live working in a guest house and they don't go out at all entirely the whole time. And I'm like, what is this? And then I spoke to one of my friends. I was checking on them. I'm like, are you okay? Is everything okay? But they do have papers. The person that I'm talking about, she does have papers. But she says, no, at work they told us not to come for the next 3 days. Why? Because there's going to be a march and march. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. So why, like, coming home is the best thing. I know it's hard. It was really hard for me, like I told you. But it's just good to come back home. I don't know. This is what's happening in South Africa is very sad. Like I told you, I didn't have any bad experience. I do have a lot of friends from South Africa. And I don't think they're xenophobic. I think they're just tired of the drugs, the thieves. You know, you cannot walk freely. That's the problem. You cannot walk freely. I remember one time I was coming from work. I used to work from Hyde Park at Sobe, and I was going to visit my sister in Troyville. And what happened was, I almost got hijacked, and I could hear the people that were in the car that were speaking the language that I understood. The language that was from my people. Then there were people that were in that car, driving that little car, and that had no number plates or anything like that. And they wanted to hijack me. So imagine the kind of fear that you get living in South Africa because of the foreigners. So that's why I'm saying that I don't blame them. I don't blame South Africans. I'm happy that they are fixing their country, but also I know a lot of people have different views. It's just that for me, the reason why I'm saying this, what I'm saying is because I grew up in South Africa and I didn't experience any xenophobic attacks, and I didn't experience any hatred or whatsoever. And I love my South African friends, and we get along so well, and I do have them all over the place on Facebook, my YouTube, TikTok, everywhere, and we communicate all the time. And they're not racist, and they're also not xenophobic. So you know what, like, I feel like everybody has to go back to their country and try to fix their own country. I know this is it's a difficult pill to swallow, but that's the honest truth. I came back home, I started everything from scratch, and here I am. I'm living peacefully, and you know, in my home with my husband and the kids, and everything is fine. And my kids are growing up in a free country, which is Zimbabwe. So guys, just come back home if you can. If you really can, just come back home.
When she could have just taken a plane straight to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now we must also focus another cost of her being transported from South Africa to Nigeria.
this country keeps spending more and more money on foreigners, and really we'd like to know how much is the government spending on addressing this issue of foreign nationals, from our prisons to our schools to the nutrition they're spending on giving them, to the SASA grants that they are getting, to the hospital, everything. We want to know how much the government is spending on foreign nationals in this country. And lastly, we are calling on the South African Police Service that on the 30th of June, since you will have unlimited resources, all the police are not working, please use that as a day to go house to house and arrest illegal immigrants. Because the march is not going to go on the whole day. You're going to be paid for the whole day. So when the march is finished, use it as a day to go house to house and remove illegal immigrants from our communities, because we don't feel safe. And this is a call that all South Africans are making, that 600 million, we must see it going to work on the 30th. Go and remove illegal immigrants from their homes. Go and verify the documents from them. Don't meet them and tell them what their rights are. Go and tell them what laws they've broken and arrest them. That's a job of SAPS. Simple. If they wanted to know their rights, they were not going to be using Aboseri and them, because they know their rights. They've got lawyers for human rights, and what's that other one you just said, Kopanang, whatever. Those people spend money. Right now, the Department of Home Affairs has more litigation from those organizations, foreigners, than they do from South Africans. Is that not the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life? Foreigners are the ones taking the Department of Home Affairs more than South Africans. And this thing of blaming the system of Home Affairs for all the problems, the system of Home Affairs should not be overcrowded with foreigners anyways. The system should be for servicing South Africans. All those applications for foreigners, put them aside. Focus on the South Africans who don't have IDs, whose identities are stolen like Chidima. That's what you must focus on. Don't tell us that refugees and asylum seekers are waiting for their documents to be processed. South Africans are waiting for their IDs. They don't have jobs. They need passports. Some of them want to travel for jobs overseas. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear Home Affairs telling us they're busy processing refugee documents. That's secondary to what we want as South Africans. We can't have 4 million South Africans undocumented. Then you want to tell us you're processing refugees. We are demanding for the Department of Home Affairs to process South African documents first. Thank you.
Wow. Is it so hard to pack your bags and come home? If there's issues like that, is it so hard? Just come back home, guys. Just do something to come back home. I know it's hard, but come back and start somewhere. So in my years of living in South Africa, I know that a lot of South Africans, I heard that they say foreigners don't pay tax. Actually, that one is a very big lie, because I used to pay tax. I would buy groceries, the VAT is charged, and I did have a tax number. And even now I do have a tax number, because I still use some of the banks from South Africa, and I believe that foreigners do pay tax. They do pay tax, especially if they have a permit, and they have a work permit, and even if that permit expired, they're still required to pay the tax. So they do pay tax. Let's hear what this guy has to say about the tax. I found this video on TikTok and I thought, okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Let's hear what he has to say.
Foreigners don't pay tax, so they shouldn't use our public hospitals. That lie gets repeated often, and some of you actually believe it. But this is just lazy propaganda. Foreigners do pay tax every single day. Every time a foreigner buys food or clothes, they are paying tax. It's called VAT. But when you tell xenophobes about this, they suddenly say, oh, but VAT doesn't count. If VAT doesn't count, then we should refund foreign nationals all the money they pay towards VAT. After showing that foreigners do indeed pay tax, they move the goalpost. But foreigners don't pay income tax. You know who else doesn't pay income tax? 8 million unemployed South Africans. Should they be denied public health care too? Be honest, this was never about tax. This is about finding any excuse to justify cruelty against poor, undocumented black people. That's all it is. Then comes their next excuse. But other countries put their own citizens first. If those countries are so great at looking after their own people, why are those same people risking their lives to come to South Africa? Why aren't they staying in those perfect countries that prioritize their own citizens? So now you want South Africa to become like the countries people are running away from. You want us to copy their failed system. you're not thinking straight. Our constitution doesn't pick favorites. It protects everyone who lives here. Section 27 says everyone has the right to access healthcare, not just citizens. Human dignity and equality are non-negotiable rights. You can't rewrite the constitution to punish a certain group of people you don't like. You don't get to strip people of their dignity because they don't have a dompas, and no judge is ever going to entertain that nonsense. Denying public services to foreign nationals doesn't protect South Africans. You're just punching down at someone who is weaker than you, someone who is already struggling. And instead of holding the powerful accountable, you'd rather fight the powerless. And we all know who holds the power in this country. You are never going to convince me that poor black foreigners are the real problem when white people still own 70% of our land. Foreign nationals didn't break our healthcare system. It was corruption and incompetence. You're angry at the wrong people.
So guys, in conclusion, I just want to say that South Africans are not xenophobic. It is because we have overstayed. We have overstayed in South Africa. If you visit someone, you can stay for 1 or 2 days or 3 days or 1 week or a month, but not years. Because if you went there to build something back home in your country, I think you should have raised that money by now to do something in your country. But some of us, when we get to South Africa, we get carried away and we live that lifestyle and we forget about where we are from. We forget about everything that we left behind. So now it's more like we are taking what belongs to other people instead of what belongs to you. Abanengi bethu, we do have villages where we do own land there in the villages from our forefathers, but we don't want to go back home because we feel like abantu bazothini, you know, that syndrome. But when you go back home, you'll see that life is going to be good for you. Okay, you'll see that life is perfect for you. I think South Africans are very tired, they're exhausted by this whole thing. Yeah, if that was happening in my country, we would be tired as well. But trust me, it's not happening in our country, so I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's happening or not, but I know that it's not happening. I haven't seen anything, you know, that's happening, especially with foreigners. We are living in our country freely, and it's beautiful living in Zimbabwe. And I'm sure a lot of people see videos everywhere how the life is like in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a beautiful country. So you come back home and be part of that beauty. Come back home and be part of that growth that's happening in Zimbabwe. You know, don't just be sitting there crying, complaining all the time. They're tired as well. If you're a visitor, people will get tired of you because now they don't have any conversations with you anymore. They don't know what to talk about with you anymore because you have overstayed. You have overstayed and now you are taking what belongs to them. So the best thing is to come back home, start a new life, because now you've gone out there. It's not like when you go to hunt, you don't live in the jungle, you come back again, back to your home. So I think that it's very important that we realize that South Africans are tired as well, and we have to let them be. And you know that song that says, let me be. That's what they want to be. They want to be free. And we are actually like, it's too much for them now because they can't be the only country that's carrying all the Africans. I understand and I feel for every African, and I do understand. But what I'm just saying is that this is my point of view, that I found peace when I came back to Zimbabwe. You know, when I came back to my home country to start a life here. So, and I found my place, and I'm very, very grateful for that. That's why I'm telling you that the president is always saying that ilizwe liyakho ngabantu balo. So come back home. Let's build our own country instead of fighting South Africans. We have to come back home and fix our own country. Come back home and start doing things here to grow your own country, to develop your own country. Because if you're not here, who's going to develop the country? Like I said earlier, if you're not here, who's going to develop the country? No one. So here in Zimbabwe, we do need a lot of engineers. We do need doctors. We do need nurses. We do need what you call, like all kinds of fields. We need them here in Zimbabwe. So come back home, find your spot and feel it. Find that gap and feel it, and you know, live your life with your family, with your children freely, where you know you can wake up in the middle of the night and go wherever you want to go, and you're gonna, you know, you are safe. So yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. But I don't know. I'm still overthinking about this whole thing. But just let South Africans be. They are tired of us. They're very, very tired. And hence why now they have developed hatred towards foreigners, because they're exhausted, they're tired, because they've given everything. And, you know, as a foreigner, we keep taking. Now it's their time to take back what belongs to them. And now we are complaining. So let's just let them be. Just let them be. Thank you for watching, guys. So what I wanted to say is that thank you so much for your support. I can see my YouTube channel is growing, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's how you support me. I really, really appreciate you so much. And if there's any topic that you want us to get into, please leave a comment on the comment section, and then we can always find ways to discuss that topic. As for now, I'm going to say good night.